Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
The plan was to recite the entire 15th chapter along with the children. Because we are running short on time, I don't want children to be so fidgety after every 5 minutes. So we'll start the competition, and then at the end, if we have time, we all will chant together the 15th chapter. 15th chapter is a very small chapter, 20 shlokas. Each shloka will take 20 seconds. We should be done in like 5 minutes. Okay? So without further ado, the lower elementary kids will go first, and then the upper elementary kids, and then the middle schoolers, and then the high schoolers. As soon as these 2 rows are getting emptied, I'll keep filling them. So I request everybody not to sit in these 2 rows. These are only for the participants. And in here, the first 2 chairs, please leave them empty. Because if anybody wants to take pictures of their children chanting or take photos or videos or whatever, we have a live recording that we are doing for the entire show. But still, if some parents want to have their own copy or whatever, you can sit in the first 2 chairs here. And please be mindful, after your child's done, please go back and somebody else will come for their child. Okay? And for all the children, once you Gayatraka will be calling your names. So Gayatri will be herding all the children. So once you chant your shlokas, you come towards me. I'll give you a water bottle and a muffin. And then you quietly go back and sit with your parents. I want all of you to listen to the shlokas. You took so much time to by heart them, right? So now it is the time to really hear and assimilate. Once when your turn is over, please hear when others are speaking. Okay? Can you manage that? And if you get hungry, come to me. I have some snacks. Okay? I'll give you. No problem. Please don't talk and shout. Cool? Awesome. Okay, Gayatri.
Namaskaram everyone, and thank you so much for taking the time to come out today. It's really, really nice to see. It's very, very inspiring to see like all the children here, because like I had grown up in like a congregation like this, so it's just like my parents had told me satsang when I was like 5 years old, right? And now I'm almost 20, which is 15 years. So it's just so inspiring to see like kids this age, like in this age group, like learning slokas. My like first memories of like sloka memorization were definitely learning Dehinos Vinyata Dehe. Till I could say it in my sleep. Like we were going to Costco and my mom would be like, Dehinos Vin. I love that sloka, and it's just so interesting to see how like as like you get older or as your education of the Bhagavad Gita like matures, how like your understanding also changes. So like when I was in like like high school, like early middle school, like late middle school, like early high school, like my favorite sloka in Bhagavad Gita, if anyone asked me like what is your favorite sloka in Bhagavad Gita, I would like easily say like right? Like, because it was such a like inspiring sloka for like that age group that like you can be a leader and so on and so forth. And then if you ask me now, I'll say like something completely different, right? So it's just so like inspiring to see like the more like the young children learn what the slokas are and the more they understand like what they mean. It's just so like inspiring and like heartwarming to see them. So I'm so happy that everyone is here today. And without any further ado, let me introduce Adya, who's going to be saying 5 slokas from chapter 15.
Mic adjust చేయండి.
Mataji, ఏం చేస్తాం మనం అందరం తీసుకుంటున్నాం which verses are we going to
ఇంకొకటి శిక్షించుకుంటే పోయి నాకు వచ్చి మీ శ్లోకాలు మీకు వచ్చా
నా ఫోన్ ఏం తీసేసుకున్నాను
నా ఫోన్ యాప్ లేదు
Vasayate Suryo Lasasakona Pavakaha Yadgasvanani Vartante Tadama Paramamama Mamaivam So Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatanaha Manasastani Indriyani Prakrutistani Karsati Shrotram Chakshuh Sparshanam Cha Rasanam Pranameva Cha Adhishtaya Manashayam Vishayan Upasevate Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashitaha Pranapana Samayukta Pachamyannam Chaturvidam Yasmacharam atitoham aksharat api chottama atosme loka vedecha pratitat purushottama.
వెరీ గుడ్ జాబ్
వెరీ గుడ్ ఆద్య
నువ్వు వెళ్ళు గాయత్రి తీసుకోమ్మా
Wow, what a great job, Adya. Such a soothing voice. Very good. Our next contestant is Arjun, and he's going to be talking to us about Arjun.
Ask him to tell his name. వాటి పేరు చెప్పండి చార్జర్ ఎందుకు నాకు పెద్ద శ్లోకాస్
Hi Krishna, my name is Arjun. Today I'm going to talk to you about Arjuna was the son of Lord Indra and
కళ్యాణ్
he was the middle brother of the 5 Pandavas.
Arjun.
Arjuna was Acharya Drona's favorite student and was the best in archery. Arjuna was so focused that he would only look at the target and never miss the target. He was one of the strongest warriors known to mankind. He was kind and compassionate. He was disciplined Lord Krishna's best friend. In the battle of Mahabharata, Arjuna was sad as he had to fight against his cousins the Kauravas. At that time, Lord Krishna gave the
wireless
teaching
password
of essence and fight in the holy book called the Bhagavad Gita.
come here Arjun
Good job.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ అర్జున్
Great
Good
job
job.
discussing about his own name. So cool. Our next contestant is Gagan, and he's going to be starting chapter 15 as well.
మై నేమ్ ఇస్ గగన్
My name is Gagan
చాండి
and I am learning chapter 15. Natal Pasayate Surya Nashashankona Pavakaha Yadketwana Nanivatante Tadana Paramamama. Mama Vamsa Jiva Loki Jiva Buddha Sanatana Marasashtani Indiyani Prakastistani Kashiti Sariram Yadava Noti Yachakritamati Shradha Nihitva Dani Samraj
Vati Vayu Kandani Vashaya Lodram Chedurus Pashanam Cha Lasanam Janameva Cha Adistaya Manasyayam Vishayanu Upasayate Yada Deja Gatam Tetu Trigadasayate Kilam Yashantamasi Yasegno Tetu Vidimamkam.
अरे वाह
Great job, Gagan. Our next contestant is Pranav, and who also studies focus.
My name is say your name.
Next time when you say it, ask the kids to first spell the name.
Very nice.
Good job, Pranav. Our next contestant is. Can you say your name?
अरे वाह
What's your name?
Rakha.
Combined it.
Shri Bhagwan Vacha Urdamura Dakshakam Ashwatham Plavalayam Yatkatwana Nivartante Tattama Palamam.
I think three or four.
Next time we could die.
Mamanso Vivaloki Jiva Bhutastanatanaha Mama Shashtani Yani Akatestani Karshati Yadadiktadathandejo Bhashate Tekilam
తర్వాత చేసుకో.
Yathantamiti Yathablo Tatejo Vitimamakam.
That? Super. You should get two.
Yeah, I like your tilak and dressing too.
One water participant for the age group. Good job, Radha.
Very, very good.
Good job. Our next participant is Ramanand.
Krishna, my name is Ramadan. I'm going to recite the 15th chapter, the 16th verse to the 28th. Vavino Purusham Loke, Shikshara Evacha, Sarasarvani Bhutani, Kurakakshara Achyate, Uttanavar Sastanya, Dharma, Uttanavar Sastanya, Dharma,
Good job, Rama.
My name is Sanvi. Bhagavan Vacha, Usamudamarasakam, Aswatam Pravuravayam, Chandansi Yasya Parnani, Yastam Veda Sabeda Vidu, Matad Vasayate Suryo, Nasa Sankona Pavakha, Yadgatwana Vipadpante, Tastama Paramamama, Mamevanso Jivaloke, Jivabhutasanatanah, Manasashtani Indriyani, Rakutastani Karishati, Aham Vesmana Robhutva, Prani Namdehamaasitaha, Prana Pana Samayukaha, Vatan Yannam Chaturvidam, Sarvasitaham Kudisannishtaha, Mattasvitirnyanako Manamcha, Vedeksha Sarvit Ahameva Vedyaha, Seratakudera Videvachaham.
Good job.
Amazing job, Sanvi.
It's a good job.
Hi, my name is Shabani. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Udam Ramadashakam, Ashwatam Prahu Avyayam, Chandam Siyasya Paranani, Yastam Veda Saveda Ved, Alashtogram Vasukapasya Shalaha, Kunah Pradya Vishaya Prabhavaha, Alastamulani Santadani, Karmanubandhini, Nushaloke, Nupamasya Hatuto Pralakshite, Nato Nijayate Nirvitam Prashtisha, Ashtamena Suvinurama, Asandashakti, Vena Chitvam, Tatapadam Satparamam Suram, Yasyatana,
Prabhuji.
Viram Turuya, Tumeva Chadyam Purusham Upadye.
Five people చేస్తున్నారు అంటున్నా.
Prabhuti Prasudha Purani, Nirmana Moha, Tasamyadosha, Adhyatmnitya, Vinivuttikamaha, Vandue Vimuktaha, Sukadukka Sanye, Gachanti Pura, Putam Avyayam Tat.
Very good. Good
Well,
job,
great
Shivani.
job, Shivani. And taking the best for last in the lower elementary category, we have Tirtha.
My name is Tirtha. Sri Bhagavat.
Don't laugh. Yeah, keep it like that. And then look there. Or look to your paper.
Turn this side.
Turn towards
What?
Yes, there.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvam Adaha Shakam Ashvatam Prabhu Abhyayam Chandansi Yasa Parani Yastam Veda Saveda Na Vasyate Suryo Na Sasako Na
स्वबुद्धिमन् स्यात् कृत कृत्यस्य भद्रः.
Good job. Come here, come here.
Now that was our first category. That was lower elementary. Give it up for lower elementary students. It's just really important that that memorization at sort of such a young age, because when you're younger, right, you have a lot more retention of memorizing things. And it's just so interesting. These kids are like second grade and below, and like, what are we learning in second grade at public elementary? We're learning like 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, right? But now like these kids, they already know like another language, and I'm sure like all of the kids that just went, they probably know Uvacha means he said, Mula means rude, right? These are really, really important things. And given that most of us are already like bilingual, knowing like a third language, like studies, there's so many studies these days that show like bilingual, trilingual students have like 70 to 80% more retention in math or science fields. So impressive that these young kids can memorize so much, so fast and so accurately. So that was really, really good. Our second category of contestants is upper elementary, and they're going to be doing speeches. Our first contestant is Shyam Sundar.
Hare Krishna. Good evening, everybody. My name is Gita Spardha. Today I'm going to talk about Abhimanyu, the unforgettable hero. Abhimanyu was one of the greatest warriors of the second generation of Mahabharata. Abhimanyu was the son of Arjuna and Subhadra and nephew of Lord Krishna. Abhimanyu's education began when he was still in his mother's womb. Just to know that he only heard how to enter the Chakravarti but not to exit as Subhadra. He spent his childhood in Dwarka. With his mother Subhadra and uncle Lord Krishna. He was trained by his father Arjuna. Uncle Lord Krishna, and Balaram and cousin Pradyumna. Abhimanyu married Uttara, the daughter of King Virata. Abhimanyu was the most illustrious warrior. By his virtue and capability, he was the most qualified heir to the throne of Hastinapur. Can you imagine? Abhimanyu was only 16 years old when he fought the Mahabharata war. Without his presence, Yudhishthira would have been captured by the Kaurava army forces and Pandavas would have lost the war. On the 13th day of the Mahabharata war, Dronacharya, chief commander of the Kaurava army forces, created a Chakravyuha which only Arjuna and Lord Krishna knew how to defeat. Unfortunately, they were at the other end of the Kurukshetra battlefield. Yudhishthira asked Abhimanyu for help. The plan was the Pandavas, including Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, and Yudhishthira, would follow and guard Abhimanyu. Unfortunately, Jayadratha, the king of sin, proved to be an obstacle for the Pandavas' entry. Abhimanyu's chariot went in a lightning speed, and he was successful in breaking in. Dronacharya, Duryodhana, Dushyasana, Karna, and Shalya all fought at him at once. Abhimanyu gave them a very tough fight in a tender age. Single-handedly, he kept all of them at bay. His valor surpassed that of Arjuna. Kauravas were very amazed to see his skill and power. In attacking many Kauravas breached the ethics and the code of the Mahabharata war. Many warriors attacked at the 16-year-old Abhimanyu at once when he was unarmed. His death is rather considered a murder in the battlefield. Eventually, Abhimanyu's son Parikshit succeeds Yudhishthira to the throne. Abhimanyu is always praised for his audacious bravery, absolute loyalty to his father and his uncle. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
That was awesome.
Gayatri, what are you doing?
I think also that.
That was an amazing, amazing speech by about Abhimanyu. In fact, I was like thinking about parts of that story that like I had seen in like the actual VR show. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that happened. Our next participant is Nikhil.
Let's first make sure that he gets the volume right.
My name is Nikhil.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Namaste to all the organizers of this event, judges and audience. I'm going to talk about the great archer of his time and middle brother of Pandava. Can you all guess who is he?
Arjuna.
He is Arjuna. Namaste to great Arjuna. We are celebrating Gita Spardha today, and this was possible due to Arjuna. Lord Sri Krishna told Gita to clear Arjuna's sorrow and remind his duty about his before beginning the Kurukshetra war. I'm going to talk about three qualities: focus, determination, and respect others displayed by Arjuna, which we have learned from his life. He is my favorite person in the Pandavas. Arjuna's birth. Arjuna was born to Mother Kunti when she prayed to Lord Indra using a special wish granted by Durvasa Maharshi. Curriculum. Bhishmacharya had worked with Pandavas and Kauravas under a teacher Dronacharya to learn different things. Arjuna was focused on learning archery skills and never minded troubles created by Kauravas in Gurukulam. One day, Dronacharya called all Pandavas and Kauravas to put a test on archery. He showed them a dummy bird on the highest branch on a tree as a target and asked them to shoot the target with an arrow. He asked each student to aim at the target and asked each student, "What do you see before hitting the target?" All students replied to him that I see a dummy bird, the sky, and a tree. But only Arjuna told that I only see an eye of the bird and nothing else. Drona asked Arjuna to release the arrow. Then the arrow hit the bird's eye and fell on the ground. This tells us how much Arjuna was focused when he was learning archery. Focus is a very important skill that we should all try in our daily lives when we are doing work or study. Arjuna started practicing in a dark after he saw his brother Bhima eating in a dark. Arjuna's determination and focus in learning archery made a favorite student to Drona and helped him learn special astras. The relation between Drona and Arjuna shows us that teachers are right to give all the knowledge if they see focus and determination in their student. Gurukulam to palace. Pandavas and Kauravas have completed their education and they returned to Hastinapura palace from Gurukulam. Pandavas' life isn't happy because Kauravas tried to kill them and take entire Hastinapura kingdom. Pandavas led life as Brahmins for a few months when they escaped Kauravas' plan to kill them. Arjuna respected his brothers and sang Guru Silence. He followed Dharmaraja's suggestions. During this difficult time, Arjuna hid Master Yantra, fishing and rotating Virpada successfully and married Draupadi. After marriage with Draupadi, Pandavas got half of Kaurava kingdom with the help of their father-in-law and Bhishmacharya. Dharmaraja became king and completed Raja Surya Yagnam with help of Arjuna. Arayana Vasam. Achievements during time of living in the forest. All Pandavas with Draupadi have spent 4 years living in the forest and 1 year in connect living. During forest living, Arjuna continued showing respect to his brother Dharmaraja and follows his suggestions. During time of living in the forest, Arjuna did tapasya and received powerful astras from Lord Shiva, Lord Indra and several devatas. This achievement made Arjuna more powerful archer in the entire world. This shows us that we should never get disappointed during difficult times. Kurukshetra war. Duryodhana didn't agree to give half of the kingdom to Pandavas after they completed 12 years of living in the forest and 1 year incognito living. Lord Sri Krishna himself went as mediator on behalf of Pandavas and explained Duryodhana to give Pandavas share of the kingdom. Duryodhana didn't listen to Lord Sri Krishna and proposed the war. Pandavas and Kauravas decided to participate in the war at a place, Kurukshetra. Arjuna had requested Lord Sri Krishna as a chariot during the war. Arjuna got depressed before starting the war. Lord Sri Krishna told Bhagavad Gita explaining importance of duty and renewed sorrow of Arjuna and asked him to continue the war. Arjuna showed respect towards his guru, Dronacharya, grandfather Bhishmacharya, and other gurus during the war, and he waited until they shot arrows at him first. Pandavas have won the war, and Dharmaraja became king to the entire Kaurava kingdom. Conclusion: Arjuna displayed three qualities: focus, determination, respect others. all the time in his life. These are three qualities very important for our success and we should all apply on in our daily lives. Hare Krishna.
Great job, Nikhil. He actually brought up like a really good point at the end, right? Like as students, we see Arjuna as like the epitome of like focus and determination. But also like that probably wouldn't have happened without him, which is something I didn't realize until like now. But our next contestant is Raghav. And he's going to be talking about
My name is Raghav. Today I'm going to talk about Bhima Divadava. Bhima is the second son of King Pandha and Queen Kunti. The word Bhima in Sanskrit means big or tall. Bhima killed all the Harakaras, including Duryodhana. Bhima is strong as 100 elephants. He is intelligent and wise, proven when he escaped from the wax palace, saving all the Pandavas and killing Purochana. Bhima is the master at mace, sword fighting, archer, wrestling, chariot riding, and elephant riding. In his first exile, he met Hidimbi and goddess of the Tajkata, and he killed the demon Bakasura and Hidimba. In his second exile, he killed Kirmira and Jatasura. He went in search of a flower called Draupadi. He met Hanuman on his way, who told him the way to Kubera's palace. After their end of their exile, Bhima disguised himself as a palace cook in King Virata's court. On the 14th day of the Mahabharata war, Bhima defeated Dronacharya by breaking his chariot, and he also defeated Karna on the 14th day of the Mahabharata war. On the 17th day of the Mahabharata war, Bhima killed Dusyasana. Ultimately, he killed all the Harakaras, including Duryodhana. After winning the war, Bhima was the chief commander of Hastinapur. After they pilgrimated their journey to the Himalayas. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So,
We don't eat eggs.
very
There are
good
no eggs in it.
performance. Very sweet, very cute. Our next contestant is Vivan.
very good job. Keep it up.
Hare Krishna. Hello, my name is Ivan. Today I'll be telling you about Bhishma. Bhishma means the terrible oath. One day, 16 years after King Shantanu's wife had left him, he found himself back on the banks of the Ganga. He missed his wife and the son she had taken with her. Shantanu's sadness was interrupted by the sounds of fighting. He found that a young archer, Devavrat, who later became Bhishma, was taming the mighty river Ganga with a barrage of arrows. Shantanu had never seen such skill or such daring. Then Ganga appeared to him. Shantanu's happiness knew no bounds when he was told that this radiant young man was none other than his own long-lost son. His name was Devavrat. Before Ganga left them, she told Shantanu that Devavrat had been taught the art of war by the warrior sage Parshuram himself, and it was sage Vashishta who had taught him knowledge of the Shastras. A happy Shantanu brought back to his kingdom its new prince. Before long, Shantanu was in love again. He loved a fisherman's daughter, her name was Satyavati, and asked her to marry him. Because her kids would not become king, they would let Sayan's dad sad, so he decided to take the terrible oath where he never becomes king or marries a girl. So he became Vishnu.
Mani Prabhu.
Vishnu took son.
Vivan, 1 second. Hold on. Continue.
Gave him a blessing to die in the wars. He wanted a wife for his brother, so he came out to purchase. Out of her money was Spardha. She decided to be born as a Kandi, and not married. Kandi was responsible for Vishnu. Vishnu showed his loyalty toward great people when the person saved from the throne. We learn from Vishnu we should be connected to our mother and parents and our baby.
Yeah. Come here, Vivan. Vivan, who prepared the summary? Did you do
Good
that?
job, Vivan. Our next contestant is Amrika.
Yes, good job. I learned a lot about this.
Hare Krishna, I am Amrita and today I will talk about Draupadi. Draupadi was born in the kingdom Panchala. Draupadi, the king of Panchala, had no children for a long time, so he performed tapas. The tapa is when someone thinks only about God and prays to God day and night. Very soon, Draupadi got 2 children. One was Drishtadyumna, Draupadi's brother, and the other one was Draupadi. Draupadi was very good and beautiful. When Draupadi grew up, she charmed everyone. Draupadi wanted Draupadi to marry the best person. A Swayamvara happened so that Draupadi would marry the best person. Many kings and princes came. There was a contest, and whoever won would marry Draupadi. All the people who tried failed, but Arjuna won the contest disguised as a Brahmin and married Draupadi. Mother, we have got a place, let's skip, said the Pandavas when they came out. Now see what the Pandavas divided
Keep it up, girl.
Wait.
Continue, Ambika. Hang on, we still can't hear. That's not much. Prabhuji, record open, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol.
The Pandavas were shocked to hear those words. But said, divided. Draupadi married 5 Draupadi got married to the Pandavas in front of Sri Krishna. Bhishma from the royal family of the Kurus and Drona were pleased, so they gave the Pandavas half of their kingdom. Indraprastha was the Pandavas' capital. Very soon the Pandavas started performing the sacrifice Rajasuya. A great wonderful hall was constructed. When the Kauravas, the Pandavas' cousins, found out how rich the Pandavas were, they became jealous. And the Yodhana was put to shame in the Pandavas' castle. The Yodhana thought a blue polished floor as a pool of water and walked, lifting his dhoti. Draupadi saw this and laughed. In the next hall there was a pool of water, but the Yodhana thought it was polished floor and fell into the pool of water. Draupadi laughed again and said, the son of a blind man is blind. That made the Yodhana furious, and he wanted revenge. So he arranged a gambling game and sent an invitation to Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira was fond of gambling, but not an expert. Since Yudhishthira was fond of gambling, he agreed, but the person he would be gambling was an expert. So Yudhishthira lost, and the Pandavas and Draupadi became servants of the Kauravas. Draupadi was dragged by her hair to the royal court, and since servants do not wear royal clothes, Dushasana started pulling off Draupadi's sari. Draupadi prayed to Krishna, and Krishna kept adding more cloth to her sari. Very soon the sari became endless, and Dushasana got tired of pulling. When Dushasana stopped pulling, Draupadi cursed Dushasana and said, "You will die with a broken thigh." She also said, "I will not tie my hair until I wash my hair with your blood." Dhritarashtra said to Draupadi, "You are a good woman. You should not curse like that," and said, "Ask me for a boon." Draupadi said, "Free me and the Pandavas." So the Pandavas were freed and got back their kingdom. The Kauravas were angry because they had cunningly won the Pandavas' kingdom. So they arranged another gambling game and sent another invitation to Yudhishthira. This time, whichever person lost would have to live in the forest for 12 years and 1 year without revealing their identity. Yudhishthira agreed and lost. So Draupadi and the Pandavas went to the forest. Once the Kauravas sent 100 sadhus to the Pandavas, and Draupadi had to feed them, but she didn't have enough food. So she prayed to Krishna, and Krishna ate a very little leaf, and all the 100 sadhus felt like they had a delicious meal. 13 years later, Draupadi didn't live in the forest and she could live, revealing her identity. Two things to learn from Draupadi is to be careful of what you say and to always believe in God. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Good job, Ambika, despite of the technical
Great
challenges.
job, Ambika. What a great storyteller. Our next contestant is Radhika.
Hare Krishna, my name is Radhika. Today I'll be talking about Draupadi. Draupadi needs no introduction. She was a mysterious, fiery, yet compassionate queen of the 5 Pandava brothers. She was the sole reason for the Mahabharata war. Draupadi had no childhood. She came from a fire sacrifice done by King Drupad for the reason of destroying the Kuru household and that patronized Drona. Fair in the culture of ancient times, she was a fearless woman. She didn't believe in suffering in silence. Draupadi demanded for justice directly from Dhritarashtra when she was insulted. She, Sairandri, again demanded justice when she was insulted by Kichak. She openly condemned Virat and Dhritarashtra for not saving her during the time of humiliation. She even condemned great people such as Drona, Kripa, and even her husbands for not saving her during the time of humiliation. Draupadi had a special pot named as the Akshay Patra. Once, when she had taken her meal, Durvas Muni visited the Pandavas who were in exile. Since she had already taken her meal, she could not produce more food. She thought of Krishna, and Krishna, who is always merciful to his devotees, saved the Pandavas from the wrath of Durvasa. When Ashwatthama killed the sleeping sons of Draupadi mercilessly, Arjuna and Krishna got Ashwatthama in front of Draupadi for her to make a final decision. She said with a surprising reply. She said that the pain that I am feeling right now will be also felt by Drona's wife if we kill Ashwatthama. Krishna was a sucker for Draupadi, or a beloved friend. Once, when Krishna's hand got cut, she gave him a piece of her sari and for Krishna to bandage, and in return, Krishna, when Draupadi was getting stripped, he gave her unlimited amounts of sari. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Good job, Radhika.
Like a whole break.
Good job, Radhika.
Draupadi's like my favorite character in Mahabharata, obviously, because she's like so righteous and like ahead of her time. And like whenever I'd be learning like Mahabharata from my mom, she'd always say like Draupadi was always so soft on the outside, like she appeared as like a queen, a mother. But inside she had like so much fire and like she knew what was right, what was wrong. Like as Radhika was saying, like as Sairandri, she went to the court, demanded justice. She went to Dhritarashtra, demanded justice. Like ahead of her time and still like very polished woman. Very epitome of
It's not working. The back of this time.
Who's your favorite character in Mahabharata? Yeah. Where's Sham Sundar? I was gonna say that when Sham Sundar picked like Abhimanyu to talk about, that's like a very brave choice because as we all know, Abhimanyu ends up like passing away, like with lots of honor, obviously. So like to take him as like the hero of a story is very like brave endeavor, which was very like interesting. Oh my gosh.
Is he okay? It's okay.
ఇప్పుడు దాకా పనిచేసిందిగా.
వాట్సాప్లో మెసేజ్ పెట్టండి విజయవాడ నా ఛార్జర్ తీసుకొస్తారమ్మా.
నా ఫోన్ అక్కడ పెట్టారు మీరు kids ne adugu. Who knows the name of this 15th chapter? Everyone recited, right? So, charging ever right now? దాని పవర్ పాయింట్ అక్కడికి తీసుకెళ్ళిపోతుంది. ఈ చైర్ని అక్కడ వేసేసి చైర్ మీద పెట్టండి. చైర్ని అక్కడ వేసి చైర్ని అక్కడ వేసేసి. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ ఫైండింగ్ ది చైర్. ముందుకు కదా వెనక్కి.
Okay, that's okay. Our next contestant is Aditi.
దీని దగ్గర ప్రభుజీ దీని దగ్గర పెట్టాలి.
Hello. Hello, I'm Aditi and I'm going to be reciting slokas from chapter 15. Number 1. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha Rupamoolamadasakham Aswattam Kahuravyayam Shandansi Yasya Parnani Astam Vedasa Vedavit. Number 5. Nirmana Mohajita Sangha Doshaha Atyatmanitya Vinivrittakama Twandve Vimukta Sukha Dukkha Samnehi Kachyanta Mudaha Padamavyayam Tat Tatat Bhasayate Suryo न शशाङ्को न पावकः यत्कत्वान निवर्तन्ते तद्धामा परमं मम. Number 7. ममेवांसो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. Number 14. अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधं. Number 15. सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टः मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यः वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम्. Number 16. त्वाविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते.
Good job, Aditi. Our next contestant is Anirudh. And the next four contestants are all going to be reciting slokas. Right before Ani starts his slokas, can all the children in the back please quiet down because we're having technical difficulties to begin with.
Hare Krishna, my name is Anirudh and I will be reciting slokas 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 19 and 20. Nirmana mohajita sangadosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha dvandvar vimuktaha sukha dukkha tandir gachanti mudaha padamavyayam tat tatad vasayate suryo shashanko anapavakaha yad gatva nanivartante taddama paramam mama ममेवांसो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनः शस्त्राणीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहं यो माम् एवमसम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदमुक्तं मया नघ एतद् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृतश्च भारत.
Amazing job, Ani. The next contestant is Mariah.
Hare Krishna, my name is Mariah and I'll be singing I'll recite the first 7 slokas. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Udvamulam Adashakam Ashwattam Prahu Avyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedaved Adashchodvam Prasutastasya Shakha Kuna Pravita Vishaya Pravalaha Adascha Mulani Nusantatani Karumanubandini Manushya-loke Narupamashchehat tatopalapyate Nanto na chade na cha sampratishta Ashwatamenam suvirudamuram Asanga-shastrena dridena chitva Tata padam tat parimagitavyam Yasmin gatana nirvartanti bhuyaha Tvameva chatyam purusham prabhate Yata prabhuti prasuta purani Nirmana moha jita sangadosha Adhyatma nitya vrinivruta kamaha Dvandve vimuktaha sukha dukkha sangnir Gachanti muraha padam avyayam tat Gatad pasayate suryo Dashashanko na pavakaha Yad gatvana nirvartante Taddama param mama Mamevamsho जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनः षष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिष्ठानि कर्षति.
Good job, Mariah. Next contestant is Siley.
My name is Sai Krishna, and I'm going to be reciting 1 through 5 from chapter 15. Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamulamadah Shakam Ashwatam Rahuram Chandam Siyasya Parnami Yastam Vedasya Vedavita Adashtrabam Prasutastasya Shakha Punapravutam Adashtramunani Anusantatani Karmanubandhani Manushya-loke Narupamasiha Tatopalabhyate Nanto natadina sampratishta अस्योत्तमेन शिवविनोदमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण हृदेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम्
వన్ టు ఫైవ్ అని చెప్పింది.
Awesome job, Saili. Saving the best for last, we have Sri Dhamma.
Let the mic be adjusted.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha. My name is Shri Dhamma. I will recite chapter 15. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Urdhvamulam adashakam ashwatam praudavayam chandam tiyasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavit nirmana moha jata sanga dosha आचार्य निचारि निवृत्त कामा तन्वेर्व मुक्त सुख दुःख संज्ञर गच्छन्ति मूढा पदम् अव्ययं तत् न तत् भाष्यते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यत् गत्वा निवर्तन्ते तत्तामा परमं मम ममे मांसो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातनः मनःशस्त्राणि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति उत्क्रामन्तं सितं वापि भञ्जानं वा गुणावितं विमूढान् पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषा सर्वस्य च हृदि संयविष्टो मतस्मृति ज्ञानम् अपमानं च वेदैः सर्वम् एव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृत् एव वेदेव चाहम् यो माम् एवम् असम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारतः. Hare Krishna.
Great job by the upper elementary. Now we're going into the middle school grade. And I just wanted to talk about how amazing your presentations were, your speeches were. In school we learned how to do public speaking, and you guys are already there. But we're going to continue the speeches with Shriya Garimala.
Krishna. I am talking about Madhacharya today. So, thank you. Madhacharya was from Brahma Madhvagolya Sampradaya, and he was born 800 years back to his parents Vedavati and Nadantilya. His original name was Vasudev, and he was Vayu. He was an incarnation of Vayu. In his previous lives, he was Bhima in Dwapar Yuga and Hanuman. He was wasting his parents' money and time while not paying attention in class. Madhacharya replied that he was paying attention in class, to which the Guru got even more furious. He asked him to recite every single thing that they had learned from day one, and Madhacharya did just that. And he also recited what they would learn in the future. The Guru was impressed by his knowledge and intelligence and told him that he did not have to go to Gurukul any longer. At the age of 12, Madhacharya decided that he was going to take sannyasam. His parents refused, both thinking that the idea was appalling, taking sannyasam at such a young age. But Madhacharya persisted, and eventually his parents relented. He was initiated by his guru, Achutya Prachaya, and was given the name Purna Prajnatirtha. At age 19, he wrote a purport for Bhagavad Gita and decided to get Vyasadev's approval on it. During this time, he initiated many disciples, including a man named Satyatirtha. All of his disciples accompanied him to the start of the mountain, and then Madhacharya said that he would alone climb Adi Badri to find Vyasadev. At the end, though, Satyatirtha ended up accompanying him. Madhacharya, with grace and ease, jumped across the mountain, jumping from tree to tree, showing he was very strong. Satyatirtha, however, had much difficulty. He would keep falling, and he was so tired at one point that he collapsed in the snow, not able to go on any further. At one point, he was very tired, and he was not able to even turn back. Madhacharya, seeing his helplessness, waved his hand, and a gust of wind blew Satyatirtha back down to the starting of the mountain. Madhacharya then continued his journey alone. He met Vyasadeva at Adi Badri and got his approval for his Bhagavad Gita purport. He then received instructions to write purports for the Vedas and the Mahabharata. Madhacharya did just that, and every time he went to Vyasadeva to get his approval, showing how determined and strong he was to climb Adi Badri 3 times. At his 3rd visit, he got a Saligrama Sila as a gift. After these events, he met a businessman once in Udupi. The businessman's boat was stuck in a canal where it was muddy and dirty. The boat was stuck, and the businessman pleaded for help to set his boat free. Madhacharya waved his hand, and a gust of wind blew the boat out of the mud. The businessman was very grateful, and so he said that Madhacharya could take any one merchandise from his boat. Madhacharya selected a huge clay stone, and whenever he was carrying it, it broke into a lot of small pieces. Inside was a beautiful Gopal deity, and it was previously worshipped by Rukmini herself. He took the deity and put it in a temple in Udupi, and that temple is worshipped now today. After this event, Madhacharya dedicated the rest of his life to going against the Mayavadi philosophy, which was teaching that there was no difference between Paramatma and Jivatma. He countered that Krishna did have a form and that there was a difference between Paramatma and Jivatma. He spoke a lot of lectures and earned the name Anandatirtha from the people, meaning one who gives pleasure to people. He then earned the name Madhvacharya, which comes from the term Madhu, which means sweet, and Dva, which means knowledge, meaning one who speaks with sweetness in his voice, but also with knowledge. It was during one of these lectures that people say he disappeared from the earth. The gods showered flowers on him at one day when he was giving his lecture, and it covered him entirely. His devotees got up to move the flowers, and instead, Madhacharya was gone. They did not find him. Some people say that this is how he disappeared from the earth. Other people say that he is still here at Adi Badri with Vyasadeva. However he disappeared from the earth, he was a great devotee and was dedicated to Krishna consciousness by spreading the fact that there was difference between Paramatma and Jivatma. Hare Krishna.
Great job, Gio, an effortless presentation. Our next contestant is Shreya, and she's going to be talking about Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Today I'm going to be talking about Srila Prabhupada, the great Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada was one of the greatest Acharya in a succession of gurus and was one of the greatest Vaishnavas. His expertise making ancient wisdom relevant to a modern man and making spiritual truths with simple explanations so a common man could easily understand. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada was born in 1896, Calcutta, India. He translated the Bhagavad Gita in English upon his guru order, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, and he was given the title of Bhaktivedanta in 1950. Prabhupada meaning Prabhu, master, and Pada meaning feet, translated as one at whose feet all of the other masters sit. He accepted the sannyasa in 1959 at the Radha Damodara temple. Srila Prabhupada began work on his life's masterpiece, a multi-volume translation and commentary on the 18,000 verse Srimad Bhagavatam in English. In 1965, when he first arrived in New York City, Srila Prabhupada was practically penniless. It was after almost a year of great difficulty that he established the International Society of Krishna Consciousness in July in 1966. Under his careful guidance, the society grew within a decade to worldwide confederation of almost 100 schools, temples, institutes, and farm communities. Srila Prabhupada left us a Vedic philosophy and culture. His books are used at colleges and universities all around the world. Srila Prabhupada taught by example. He led a life of a sannyasi and displayed great humanity, never taking undue personal credits for his accomplishment. My only credit, he said, is that I have strictly followed the order of my guru. His spiritual master, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, had instructed him to preach the message Chaitanya in English, and whenever you got money, print books. Srila Prabhupada introduced the Western world to benefits of chanting the holy names of Krishna in the form Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare.
Good job. I just want to remind everyone to please maintain silence. The kids have obviously worked really hard for this. The next contestant we have is Ayush.
So my name is Ayush, and I'm going to be reciting the four first shlokas of chapter 15. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Moolam Dashakam Ashwattam Prahuravryayam Jamdansi Yasukarnani Yastam Vedasa Vedavitam Adhash Chordvam Prasutastasya Shakha Guna Prabhridya Vishaya Prabhala Adhash Chamulani Anusantatani Karmanubandhini Manushaloke न रूपम अस्यः तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलं असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा तथा पदम तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये yata pravritti prashrita purani.
Amazing job, Ayush. Next we have Bhargavi.
Hi, I'm Bhargavi. I'm going to say the 10 slokas from chapter 15. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Uttamoolamadasyakam Ashvattam Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Padmani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved Narupamasyeha Tathopalabhyate Nanto na chadrid na cha sampratishthah Ashvattamenam suvirudhamulam Ashangashasthrena dridhena chitva Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha Tameva chadyam purisham prapadye Yata pravritti prasrta purani Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama Dvandve vimukta sukha dukkha samjay Gachanti amudha padamavyayam tat Na tad bhasayate suryo na sashanko na pavakaha Yadgatvana nivartante tadhama paramam mama Mamayvamso jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha Manashastan indriyani prakritistani kashyati Sariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramati Grihitvaitani samyati Vayurgandhani vasayat Yatanto yoginaschainam Pasyantyatmani avastitam Yatanto pyakritatmano Nainam pasyantyasetasah Gama vishya bhutani Dharayamyaham ojasa Pushnami chosati sarva Somo bhutva rasatmakaha Aham vaishvanaro bhutva Praninam dehamashritah Pranapana samayuktah Pachamyannam chaturvidham.
Amazing job. That was really well done. Next we have Janvi, and she's also doing.
Hi, my name is Janavi. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhmoolamadasyakam Ashvattam Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Padnani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved Narupamasyeha Tathopalabhyate Nanto na chade na cha sampratishthah Ashvattamenam suvirudhamulam Ashankashasthrena dridhena chitva Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha Tameva chadyam purusham prapadye Yata pravritti prasrta purani Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama Dvandve vimukta sukha dukkha sande Gachanti mudha padamavyayam tat Na tad bhasayate suryo na sasanko na pavakaha Yadgatva na nivartanti tadhama paramam mama Mamayvamso jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha Manah shastanindriyani prakritistani kashyati Sariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramati Grihitvaitani samyati Vayurgandhani vasayat Yatanto yoginaschainam Pasyantyatmanavastitam Yatanto pyakritatmano Nainam pasyantyasetasah Gama vishya cha bhutani Dharayam yahamojasa Pushnami cha shadi sarva Somo bhutva rasatmakaha Aham vaishvanaro bhutva Praninam dehamashritah Pranapana samayuktah Pachamyannam chaturvidham.
Good job. Very well done. Next we have Ritvik.
Hello, my name is Ritvik, and I'm gonna be reciting the first 10 slokas of.
Closer to the mic.
Hello, my name is Ritvik, and I'm going to be reciting the first 10 slokas of the 15th chapter. Shri Bhagavan ऊर्ध्वमूलमथ शाकम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययं छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् अतश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखाः गुणप्रवृत्ता विषयप्रवालाः अतश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येह ततोऽभलभ्यते नातो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणे निर्माणमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामा द्वन्द्वै विमुक्ता सुखदुःखसञ्जैः गच्छन्त्यमूढाः पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भाषयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यदमाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामति स्वतः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशया श्रोत्रं चक्ष स्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानवसेवते उत्क्रामन्त्यसितं वापि भुज्ञानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति नानचक्षुषः। हरे कृष्ण।
Next we have Srivat.
My name is Srivat. श्री भगवान उवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधःशाकम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययं छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् निर्माणमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा आध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामा द्वन्द्वे विमुखः सुखदुःखसंज्ञै गच्छन्ति मूढः परमव्ययं तत् न तद्भाषयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःशस्त्राणि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति उत्क्रामन्तं सितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढा नानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानम् अपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वे अहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम् द्वाविमो पुरुषो लोके क्षरक्षर एव च क्षर सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षरमुच्यते यस्माक्षरम् अतीतोऽहम् अक्षरात् अपि चोत्तमा अतोस्मि लोकवेदे च प्रार्थिता पुरुषोत्तमा योमम एवो असुमोडो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदं मुक्तं मयान्यक एतत् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमांस्या कृतस्य भारतः.
Good job. That concludes the middle school section. So before we go into the high schoolers, since it is a time to set up, we're all gonna chant the 15th chapter. We're gonna do the 15th chapter of Gita. Mom just sent everyone the link if you have your phone. If not, if you have a book, that's fine. But if you need to find it online, the link has been sent in the WhatsApp. So if you just click on it and go to the 15th chapter, we'll be reciting the entire chapter. Awesome.
This is the live things happening right now.
You want to do it to the TV?
Wait, Gita, go back, go back. Prabhuji.
We will be reciting 15th chapter. It will only take 5 minutes because the elder kids need to present. So we will be connecting the laptop. Can I have your attention for 2 minutes? Thank you. We have Bhagavad Gita books here. If you want to have one, I will give you, or you can come and take Bhagavad Gita books. In 2 minutes, we will all chant 15th chapter. Please encourage your children to sit with you because they have worked so hard and learned the shlokas, right? All the girls did fantastic job. So please ask them. I will give 2 minutes and then we will get started. Thank you.
Boys also did that.
Of course. I will lead. We all will read together. But I will give my with me just so that we will follow the same meter.
But again, like,
రికార్డింగ్ నడుస్తుందా ఇంకా? మీరు మార్చేసేందుకు అటు పెట్టండి,
మీరే కదా మాతాజీ.
అటు పెట్టండి.
ఓం అజ్ఞానతిమిరాంధస్య జ్ఞానాంజనశలాకయా చక్షురున్మిలితం యేన తస్మై శ్రీగురవే నమః. హరే కృష్ణ హరే కృష్ణ 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 హరే హరే, హరే రామ 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 హరే హరే. శ్రీ భగవానువాచ ఊర్ధ్వమూలం అధః శాఖం అశ్వత్థం ప్రాహురవ్యయం ఛందాంసి యస్య పర్ణాని యస్తం వేద స వేదవేద్. అధశ్చోర్ధ్వం ప్రసృతస్తస్య శాఖా గుణప్రవృద్ధ విషయప్రవాళాః. అధశ్చ మూలాని అనుసంతతాని కర్మానుబంధీని మనుష్య లోకే. న రూపమస్యేతతోపలభ్యతే నాంతో న చాదిర్న చ సంప్రతిష్ఠా. అశ్వత్థమేనం సువిరూఢమూలం అసంగశస్త్రేణ దృఢేన చిత్వా. తతః పదం తత్పరిమార్గితవ్యం యస్మిన్ గతా న నివర్తంతి భూయః. తమేవ చాద్యం పురుషం ప్రపద్యే యతః ప్రవృత్తి ప్రసృతః పురాణీ. నిర్మాణమోహాజితసంగదోష అధ్యాత్మనిత్యా వినివృత్తకామాః. ద్వంద్వైర్విముక్తాః సుఖదుఃఖసంగైర్ గచ్చన్త్యమూఢాః పదమవ్యయం తత్. న తద్భాషయతే సూర్యో న శశాంకో న పావకః. యద్గత్వా న నివర్తంతే తద్ధామ పరమం మమ. మమైవాంసో జీవలోకే జీవభూతా సనాతనః. మనఃశస్త్రాణీంద్రియాణి ప్రకృతిస్థాని కర్షతి. శరీరం యదవాప్నోతి యచ్చాప్యక్రామ్యతీశ్వరః. గృహీత్వైతాని సంయాతి వాయుర్గంధాని వాసయాత్. శ్రోత్రం చక్షుషా స్పర్శనం చ రసనం గ్రాణమేవ చ. అదిశాయ మనశ్చాయం విషయానుపసేవతే. ఉత్క్రామంతం స్థితిం వాపి భుంజానం వా గుణాన్వితం. విమూఢానానుపశ్యంతి పశ్యంతి జ్ఞానచక్షుషః. యతంతో యోగినశ్చైనం పశ్యంత్యాత్మనిర్విస్థితం. యతంతోప్యక్రాత్మానో నైనం పశ్యంత్యచేతసః. యదాదిత్యగతం తేజో జగద్భాసయతేఖిలం. యచ్చంద్రమసి యస్యాగ్నిం తత్తేజో విద్ధి మామకం. గామావిశ్య చ భూతాని ధారయామి అహమోజసా. పూష్ణామి చౌషధీ సర్వా సోమో భూత్వరసాత్మకా. అహం వైశ్వోనరో భూత్వా ప్రాణినాం దేహమాశ్రితః. ప్రాణాపానసమాయుక్తః పచామ్యన్నం చతుర్విధం. సర్వస్య చాహం హృది సన్నివిష్టో మత్తః స్మృతిర్జ్ఞానమపోహనం చ. వేదైశ్చ సర్వైరహమేవ వేద్యో వేదాంతకృద్వేదవిదేవ చాహం. ద్వావిమౌ పురుషౌ లోకే క్షరశ్చాక్షర ఏవ చ. క్షరः సర్వాణి భూతాని కూటస్థోऽక్షర ఉచ్యతే. ఉత్తమ పురుషస్త్వ అన్య परमात्मेति उदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयम् आविश्य बिभर्त्यव्ययश्वरः यस्मात्क्षरम् अतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतिहितः पुरुषोत्तमः यो मामेवमसम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदमुक्तं मया नघ एतद्बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृतश्च भारत. Hari Bol. So now we will end our session with 3 teenagers. They are high school students. They are in 10th, 9th, 10th and 12th graders. Who will go first? Okay, first chapter 1. Utsav will teach us what is in chapter 1. Each kid is given 6 minutes to 8 minutes and they will teach us one chapter. If I am right, Utsav is doing chapter 1, Rohan is doing chapter 14, Anirudh Manjala is doing chapter 16. Okay, let's learn from them.
Hello everyone, my name is Rachel. I'm going to be doing Observe the Armies. Battle of Marathon. The battle between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Sanjaya delegating the war to Dhritarashtra. The Kauravas army led by Bhishma and included Duryodhana Acharya. The big bad bully or antagonist, the villain, was Duryodhana. The Pandavas were Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadai army were led by King Dhruva. Formations of the army and blowing of the conchos as they were a signal as the war was going to begin right now. Arjuna's dilemma for refusing to fight. Arjuna's dilemma for refusing to fight. Arjuna requested Krishna to take the chariot to the center of the battlefield. Seeing his friends and relatives, he doubts his ability to fight because he was hesitant on fighting his own loved ones, and I think we all would be too. If we were in a war, we could not possibly fight our loved ones since they've always been there for us. And so here are 5 reasons why Arjuna didn't want to fight. He said, how can I enjoy in victory by killing all my teachers and relatives? And that's a good question. How can he? He can't. Nobody can. It says that he also then says, I will become extremely sinful because all the stuff he does, it's going to come back to him just like karma. Family traditions will be destroyed and nobody protect women because without those men who will protect the women from all the lower class, all the family traditions would be gone, destroyed because you guys they were all too busy just fighting in the war. Who will offer food and water to the ancestors? That was another question of them. Nobody will offer food and water to the ancestors because they're all dying because they're too busy fighting. And better to be a beggar in a fight. Arjuna thought it was a good idea for him to be a beggar because although, yes, he's running away, at least he won't have that guilt fighting and killing those loved ones. Arjuna's reasons to fight were reasonable because they show his compassion for his concerns for family tradition and his unselfish nature. Arjuna is not like Voldemort or Thanos, where he would kill his loved ones for some war or his personal gain or goal. Significance of Lord Krishna becoming a charioteer of Arjuna. Krishna is bound by a rope of love. He would actually be our servant if we gave him heart and attention. He would actually go there and be our servant. Flag on a chariot. Hanumanji on the flag represents victory. A character of a person is shown by humility and respect for others. That That's why Krishna wanted Hanumanji on the flag, because Krishna represents Hanumanji, because Hanumanji does the same thing right back to him. A correlation with Arjuna. Life is like a battle because we keep battling, fighting, we keep going, and if we die, we lose that battle. If we keep living, we're winning the battle. Our negative qualities represent the Kauravas. Our good qualities represent the Pandavas. Because we, like Arjuna, have to fight this battle daily. Lord Krishna sitting in our hearts as a super soul is our guide.
Life is a battle.
We keep observing.
And you want to go? Rohan, you want to go? Let Rohan. Nala Nulla. If you want to watch your slides, don't do that. Keep here and you watch here.
The cord doesn't extend that far.
Huh?
The cord doesn't extend that far.
Let him stand here. Okay. ఇట్లా చూస్తుంటే how it's so hard కదా పాపం. ఏమండి కొంచెం ఓ ఇంతే ఉందా?
అందుకే అది బాగుంది.
స్పీడ్ వైపు పెట్టండి. Do you need to see your slides?
A little bit.
Okay. 14 chapters.
ఇట్లా చూసుకోవాలి అప్పుడు.
ఇది కనబడుతుంది.
సరే అది ఏదో.
Tell them your name and what you're doing.
Great.
So my name is Rohan, and today I'll be presenting the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and this is where Arjuna was Lord Krishna was explaining to Arjuna in the battle of the Kurukshetra. So today I'll be using the acronym or the mnemonic device TRAP, TRAP, T standing for the three modes, R standing for race for prominence, A standing for actions and modes, and P standing for pure life. So Krishna is our original father of all of the organisms who are in this planet and other planets as well. And as I previously mentioned, the T stands for the three modes, and mode directly transcribes to the word guna in Sanskrit. And guna means a rope or a thread, basically implying that a rope or a thread is a very continuous cycle. So there are three gunas or modes: Sattva guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. So Sattva guna is more of thinking about the long run, and even though there's inconvenience right now, it might help you in the long run. So if you're suppose you're going to a math class right now, it might be an inconvenience right now, but it may help you in the long run. Rajoguna is more of a passion feeling, a desire feeling. Oh, I want to do better at work today. I want this car, I want that. It's more of a desire, more of a passion feeling. And Tamoguna is more of never experiencing happiness, very sad, very lethargic, very impatient. So these are some of the synonyms I had mentioned for Sattvaguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. So Sattvaguna meaning satisfaction, modesty, impartial, unbiased. Rajoguna meaning attachment, toil, valor, desire, pleasure. And Tamoguna also being unknown, unalert, unethical, fear, prejudice, stuff like that. Next one. So R, as I said previously, stands for race for prominence. So during each time of these days, all of these different modes compete for supremacy, right? So as I said before, different modes during different times of day, right? So Sattva guna usually occurs during the morning of the day. That's why we say we should do chanting in the morning of the day, right? So in Sattva guna, as I said previously, you can experience joy, wisdom, kindness, stuff like that. And also Sattva guna foods include very sweet fruits, rice, stuff like that. So Rajoguna also, as I previously explained, passion, provoke, greed occurs in the middle of the day or the afternoon part of the day, right? So during this time of the day, you can experience provoke, greed, anger, and some of these foods include very spicy foods such as garlic, pickle, onion, stuff like that. So during the end part of the day, during the night part, whenever you're sleeping, you want to sleep, you're very lethargic, laziness, inertia. This is usually whenever you eat meat and other kinds of food like that. So this is a picture, a diagram explaining of how our life should be, as these three modes are very interdependent but still connected as a way. So we should aim for the sattva wheel to be much bigger. We want that to control the other two wheels, right? We don't want the other two wheels controlling the sattva wheel, right? So A in TRAP stands for actions and modes, right? So based on what you're doing right now during this lifetime, whatever your most predominant guna you're in. Suppose I was in sattva guna, right? I'm a more good person, I'm more content with my life, right? Then Krishna then sees this and then he says, oh, okay, so since you're more of a sattva guna, you will be born in the higher planets, right? However, if you are more of the Rajoguna type, you'll be born in earthly planets like we are right now. And Tamoguna, which is more of a lethargic state of mind, you'll be born in the animal kingdom as an animal once again. So P is standing for TRAP, the last acronym known for pure life. And even if you're in the Sattva Guna right now, the law of karma still applies for you, right? But our goal right now, as Krishna tells Arjuna, is that we even want to transcend and rise above even the Sattva Guna, right? So we want to rise to that spiritual platform, and by doing this, we can form Bhakti Yoga and transcend these three modes, as Krishna explains how to get out of this continuous rope or thread cycle, as he explains how we can ultimately reach the spiritual platform. And Lord Sri Krishna says that all of these individuals who then transcend after these three modes are perfect individuals. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Curry.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's Mataji's. My name is Anirudh Manchala and I'll be explaining the 16th chapter, the divine and demoniac qualities. So the basic summary of the 16th chapter is that there's two types of people, right? There's the good people and the bad people. And these are mainly represented in the Bhagavad Gita as the divine people and the demoniac people. The divine people, they do good things, they do good deeds, and they reap good benefits. The bad people, the demoniac people, they do bad deeds and then they reap the bad benefits. Benefits, but they're bad. Dvaubhuta Sargalokesmin Deva Asra Evacha Deva Vistara Savprokta Asran Partha Meshdu. That's what this is from. So like Hiranyakashipu, right? He did bad stuff, so Narasimha came and ripped his guts apart. Now we go on to the divine qualities. This is 16.1 to 3. So the good qualities are numerous. There's a lot, to be honest. And the list goes on, right? It's very self-explanatory. There's fearlessness, vigor, non-violence, compassion. There's a lot of stuff, and all the good qualities that we already have within ourselves, but we have to nurture every day in our own actions to make sure they are more prominent than the demoniac qualities. Now we go on to the demoniac qualities. There are a lot of bad qualities. For example, there's pride, there's arrogance, there's conceit, there's anger, there's harshness, there's ignorance, unfriendliness, untruthfulness, delusional, being atheistic, lustful, and the list goes on. Again, there's a lot of qualities, and there's so many, there's numerous, that you cannot list them all down, as every quality is different. And yes, we are born with every quality. However, we must be able to train ourselves to make sure we do not act upon these qualities so that they are toned down and the good qualities rise. First one, being proud or being conceited. The dictionary definition is a feeling or deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements, the achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. For anyone who does not speak English as a first language, That is a very confusing definition. Basically simplified down is that you should be proud of your own achievements. However, you should not come to the point where you are gloating, bragging about whatever you've done. If you got an A on a test, that's great. You don't have to go around the entire class saying you got an A. It does not pay. No one cares if you got an A, okay? No one cares. Next one. Arrogance. Having exaggerated one's own abilities or importance. Duryodhan very much exaggerated his own importance. He refused to give any part of the kingdom to the Pandavas, thinking he could rule it all. He did not want to give anything to anybody because he wanted his own stuff. He made Karna a king because he said he was, the prince, right? He did not have the qualification, but he still did it because he was arrogant. He overestimated his own abilities. The next one is anger. Anger is very common. Everyone has anger. It's just the way you deal with anger, right? Anger is one letter away from danger. Let's get something. Harshness. The next one is harshness. Harshness is to be unpleasantly rough, cruel, or severe. To be harsh is a very masculine trait. It is what it is. And that goes into masculine justice. There are two types of justice. There's a masculine justice, and there's a masculine justice, there's a feminine justice. A masculine justice is a very harsh and cruel form of punishment. You break it, you have to pay for it, right? You lie, you go down to hell. It's that kind of thing. But however, feminine justice is a very lenient form of justice. You told a lie, it's okay, beta, I will forgive you. Right? It's that kind of thing, right? However, you put those two together, you get a perfect, balanced form of justice. This goes into giving people second chances, right? This goes into being a good parent, right? This goes into being good people. The next one is ignorance. Ignorance is the lack of knowledge or information. Because you didn't know what's right or wrong, you are excused once. This goes into a second chance. For example, Cornelius Fudge, the Minister of Magic from Harry Potter, he didn't know that Voldemort was he didn't know that Voldemort was back, right? He refused to believe it. Ignorance is not about not knowing, it's to refuse to believe what is right, right? He knew. Everyone around him kept telling him that Voldemort was back. Everyone kept telling him, but he never listened to the people around him, and so ultimately what happened was that Voldemort came in and killed him, and he died. Delusional. Holding beliefs that are clearly wrong, contradicted by reality or rational argument, right? This is called being delusional. For example, the Pandavas, right? This is an anti-example. I'm not saying Pandavas are delusional. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that Pandavas, they went to the dice game, right? They were challenged by Duryodhan to go to the dice game, and they accepted the challenge. Now, it's gambling. That's a big thing. They talked to Krishna. Krishna said, "Go ahead, do it." The reason why Krishna said, "Go ahead and do it," because it was his duty to go and fight, not fight, accept the challenge. My bad. Right? It was his duty to go and accept the challenge and go and play the game. Because as a Kshatriya, he has to take upon challenges. That's his duty. Because if he did not do it, then whenever he would become king, the people would look at him and say, "You didn't accept the challenge. We shouldn't follow you. You're bad." Right? That's what they're going to say. And at the end of the day, they're not going to follow him, though he might be a good king. So Krishna said, "Go ahead and go play." Now, the Pandavas didn't go in all delusional and think, "Oh, we're going to win this because Krishna said we should go play." No, they knew they were going to lose. Basic laws of physics and skill tells them they were going to lose. No amount of miracle is going to change that, right? They knew they were going to lose, but they still played because it was the right thing to do. That's not being delusional, that's called being smart. Next one is uncleanliness. It is being to be dirty or morally wrong, right? Having a messy room is different than having a dirty room. A messy room means your dirty clothes are all over the floor. That can take like 3 minutes to clean up if you throw everything in the laundry hamper and throw it in the washing machine. That takes a very short amount of time to clean. When there are things that are dirty, there is bacteria, stuff that is bad, stuff that can give you disease, the Black Plague. People didn't take a shower. They were dirty, which is why they got a disease and most of the population of Europe was wiped out. right? This says they were dirty. That means you have to go on your knees, you have to scrub everything. That means you have to work internally to cleanse your own self of bad qualities. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Lustful. Being lustful is a very strong sexual desire, is not for good purpose, but used to manipulate. Reproduction, as your parents have probably done, is a very good thing. Is meant to be a good thing, to create another person. Like Indra. Indra was not like that, obviously. We can see Indra, Ahalya, right? Ravan was a prime example of lust. He kidnapped Sita just to fulfill it, right? Next slide. Now go to the demonic thought process. This goes into 16.8 to 24. They think that the world is made for three things: sex, violence, and drugs. These three things drive their entire thought process. This makes them do bad things. Like Europe. Europe went over to half the world and colonized it and destroyed it. For what? Power. That's all they wanted. They wanted power and money. They went to Africa because there were huge plots of gold there. They went to India just to take spices. They wanted food, and they came to India. Can you imagine? They wanted food, right? So they get this by illegal means, by taking the Indian spice trade, that kind of stuff. Now, there are 3 slokas, and they perfectly describe a demon's mentality, their thought process, completely. First one, they have money now, and they'll get more in the future. This does not matter how they'll get it somehow. They'll take it from your dead body. They don't care how they'll take it. They have taken down enemies, and they will take down more enemies in the future, right? Every dictator's dream plan, no enemies, right? They are powerful and they're happy. They are powerful and they're happy. They will give charity because they want something in return. Like Karna. Karna gave charity because he wanted something in return. Every single time he gave charity, he expected something in return. Did he get something in return? We don't know, but he did. The next one is they perform sacrifices and to get a popular name, like Daksha. He performed many sacrifices, did not invite Shiva the second time or the first time, did not invite Brahma, his father, the first time, all because he wanted a name for himself with all the other devas and devatas. Next one. The world in my eyes, again, they believe that there is no God, and whatever God there is, he's either happy and supports them, or the God is scared of them, which is why he does not oppose them. That's a demonic mentality. They see someone and they want that person. They have money, and again, they'll take it, doesn't matter how they take it, they'll take it. So this goes into what happens to them. This goes into the long term, right? They are bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger. Hence, they are always cast down to the most abominable ways of life into the material existence, which is basically earth. Material existence is earth. Don't confuse it with anything else. It is earth. They come down to earth because it is bound by the 3 modes of nature, as Rohan clearly explained. And they are always bound in the mode of the tamoguna, which is always going to be the mode of ignorance. We're always unhappy. There are 3 gates leading to hell. Trividam narakasyedam dvaram nashtam atmanha kamas krodhas tatha lobhas tasmat etam trayam tajed. There are 3 gates leading to hell: greed, lust, and anger. Everything comes from greed. If you are greedy, you want everything. You see a person, you want that. But whenever you don't get what you want, you become angry. Take Ravan, for example, right? He was greedy. He wanted money. He wanted power. So what did he do? He robbed Kubera, his own brother, right? And he wanted power. He wanted everything. So he took he took Kubera's stuff, right? Classic older brother stuff, you know. And then what happened? Was that he saw Ramba, and then he felt so much lust for Ramba, and Ramba was like, no. And then Ramba cursed him. It's a basic story. And it's a long story. But Ramba cursed him, and so that's how he got lust. And he got so angry about it, he started tearing down everything. He started pillaging all the holy temples, all the holy places of the world. He started pillaging it out of anger. Right? This leads to no happiness. Because of this, Ravana never really had any true happiness. All his happiness came from was diving into pots of gold. I don't know how that works, but that's how it works. Right? This goes to no happiness. No happiness equals no perfection. And when you do not perfect your life, you don't get liberation. So Ravana never had the 3. The only good thing he did was get killed by Rama. Final conclusion. Do your dharma. It is not hard, right? That's the basic lesson of the entire 16th chapter. Is that doing good stuff gives you good benefits. Doing bad stuff gives you bad benefits. That's what Krishna is telling here in this chapter. धन्यवाद.
I called it.
Next.
Can I speak through that, please? Can I speak through the mic?
You're done.
Let's give a huge round of applause to our
Haribol.